This is George Dionne of the Rock is George podcast, and this is a KNAC.com exclusive interview with vocalist Rick Hughes of the Canadian heavy metal act Sword, discussing his latest solo album, Redemption. Well, today we're talking about your latest solo album, which is Redemption. It came out on October 24th through Deko Entertainment. Of course, you're the frontman of Sword since 1981. This is your first international solo album. You had 3 prior solo albums that were indie releases. How long ago did you start working on Redemption? Because your last solo album was about 10 years ago.
I guess I started like before we released the third solo Sword album in 2022, because I'm the kind of guy that doesn't wait for the phone to ring. You know, I make things happen. So I was writing songs while I was doing the Sword album. The Sword and Sword, not to be confused. When I was doing Sword album, I was working on my stuff, and as soon as the Sword wave kick started going down, I told my manager, okay, so let's do a solo album and let's work on that. So it's been a couple of years in the making.
When it comes to songwriting, do you write alone or do you collaborate with others?
I used to write alone, but not for this one. This one I was very animate. I told my manager, I said, listen, I need some guitar heroes on this one, because I play guitar, I play the piano, I write songs, but when you're alone and your room and I'm not a guitar hero, I'm a singer. You come up with some chords and some nice melody and stuff, but to get the good riffs, and you need a guitar hero like Brad Gillis.
We'll get to Brad Gillis shortly.
Okay.
While we're talking about kind of the making of Redemption here, I wanted to know how working with producer John Webster was. Does he throw ideas your way, or does he just kind of takes the fragments and make it all make sense?
John he's a passionate guy. For my project, he's the main conductor. Everything went through him. Quality control from A to Z. Yeah. 2 years ago, we started in 2022, and I was throwing songs at him, and it's no. I started to take it personally. So my manager calls me. He says, "No, Rick, don't let John go. He's gonna make. If you let him be the conductor of your album, it's gonna be quality control. You'll love it." I said, "Okay, let's do that." So John Webster is like he's a dictionary, man. He knows everything about music. He knows how to record, how to mix, how to produce, how to arrange. I'm very fortunate for him for him having done this album for me.
Now, Redemption is a different sound for you if people only know you from Sword. Sword is more of a hard rock, heavy metal act. I would say your solo album runs the line of like melodic rock, AOR, or kind of the stuff you heard on the radio in the late 80s, Bon Jovi, Journey, stuff like that.
True. I love rock music. What I love about rock music is that I love all type of rock music, from rockabilly to heavy metal, and in between there's everything. There's pop rock, there's blues rock. You got some blues rock on my album. You got some pop rock. You got some hard rock with Shake My Soul, and you even got French songs. So what I'm trying to say is that with this album, I tried to not redo the same song over and over again. I wanted something very broad, That's what I love about rock music. It's because it's got some subgenre to it, Rockabilly, Stray Cat are as rock and roll as Motorhead, but it's not the same sound. It's 2-power trio, but completely different sound, but both comes from rock music.
I've seen you describe Redemption as an album of hope, maybe a little more hope than creating hope within ourselves, creating a better world within ourselves rather than trying to fix everything, right?
So true. Exactly. That's where I'm at right now. Personally, I can only talk about myself. If I do a solo album, it's not in a way where it's look at me, look at me, look at me. No, it's more I'm looking at myself and I'm thinking about a subject and this is what I think about it. Not taking words from somebody else's mouth or so to me, why did I chose to call the album Redemption? It's because yeah, every day you got a chance to make your life better. Every single day, wherever you're at in your life. If you're sick, if you're not sick, if you're rich, if you're poor, it's up to you. It's all in your head. So that's why I went with Redemption, because I thought that this album, there was no downer on it. I'm not finger pointing at anything. The more finger pointing I'm doing on this album is Will of the Gun. But then again, it's not left, it's not right, it's center. It's like just think about the stuff and make it your own.
Kind of the centerpiece of this album is your current single, The Real Me, which is a cover of The Who. You mentioned Brad Gillis earlier. This also features Tommy Aldridge, Rudy Sarzo, who were all part of OZZY's live band during the Diary of a Madman tour. How did you get everyone involved for this all-star jam here?
Well, it all started with Brad. When I was talking to my manager, I said, I need a guitar hero on this album that's going to write some good riff that I'm not able to write because I'm mainly a singer. I play guitar, play piano, but I don't write the riffs. So he said, I was with Saints and Sinners for an album, a band that was produced by Aldo Nova. I co-wrote some songs with Bon Jovi and Aldo for the album. And there was this guy, Jesse Bradman, keyboard player from San Francisco. So we kept in touch. We asked him for a couple of songs, and he was working with Brad Gillis. He says, I got a couple of songs that I co-wrote with Brad Gillis. Maybe you'd be interested. Yeah. So I heard the song, fell in love with them. I wanted them for the album. So that's how we connected with Brad. We became friends. And when it was time to record The Who, what I love about The Who and Zeppelin, what those two bands have very similar is that if you listen to Zeppelin and you just want to listen to John Bonham, you just have to concentrate a bit and poof, he's right there. You hear him clear, loud and clear. Same with The Who. If you listen to The Who, any song, if you want to listen to John Entwistle, concentrate, boom, he's right there. Power trio with a singer. So I said to my manager, I says, well, we had Brad. Why don't we ask him to do the Real Me? And then we'll find some powerhouse players to accompany him. So he said yes. And he said, and when we told him we wanted some all-star players, he says, so why don't we ask Rudy and Tommy? That was the band for Speak of the Devils. Speak of the Devil. So we said, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's try that. And it worked.
Now, I watched the music video. Were you guys in the same room, or is this a bit of AI trickery?
Oh, we were in the same room. This is one the highlight of the last 5 years, being in the same room with Tommy Aldridge, Brad Gillis, and Rudy Sarzo. We spent the day together. It was shot at Castle Studio in Burbank. So I flew there from Quebec to Los Angeles to Hollywood, and I was waiting there in the room. And the first to arrive was Tommy. Tom is a drum tech, was not available that day, so we're big fans of Tommy Aldridge. So we all became Tommy Aldridge drum tech. It was so good, man. What a day I had. The next to arrive was Brad, and I was really happy to see him because we had worked together on the album for a while, but we never met. So that's where we met. And then the last one to arrive was Rudy, and it was something because you could feel the enthusiasm of these guys being together because I'm sure that throughout all the years that they crossed path and they maybe they jammed together. I don't know. They didn't talk about that, but it was the first time they were reunited with a singer to do something, and it was me. Imagine that, little me. Big fan of Ozzy, big fan of all those guys, Quiet Riot, Night Ranger, Tommy Aldridge. My God, I had to pinch myself. So yeah, because I was one of the guys, you know. I had to become one of the guys. So when we started to record the video, we got there like in the morning. We started to record after lunch, and there was a live feed to Montreal to the producers and the managers because it was big. It was a big day for us. So we started to record some stuff. Then I get a phone call. My girlfriend says, your manager wants to talk to you. I pick up the phone and says, Rick, everything's going great. Everything's perfect. One thing, what? You look like a deer in front of headlights. Please come to grip. You're with Tommy, you're with the boys, you're part of the band. Make it happen. I said, yeah, it shows that much? She says, yeah. So I had to go to the toilet and just kind of come back. Now, listen, I make it big because let's put it in perspective. I got a 10, 15 years difference in age with the guys. So when I was 15, they were in their prime. They were 25, 30 years old doing the Montreal Forum with OZZY, with Dio, with Whitesnake, all bands that influenced me a lot as a singer. I mean, David Coverdale, he's been my idol forever. Same goes with Dio. Same goes with OZZY. And these guys played with those singers. I was such in awe. And then when they started to make me feel like one of the boys, it all vanished, and then I came back to earth.
Now, you've got the chance to hang with Ozzy's band. Did you ever get the chance to meet Ozzy Osbourne back in the day?
Yes. That was a funny story, though. I was in Montreal. I was starting my career. I was like 18, 17 years old, playing in a bar in Montreal, and they were doing the Montreal Forum, and they arrived the night before. So we kind of hang around the club that was just beside the Montreal Forum because there was a rumor that Ozzy would go there. So he definitely came that night, and I listen to this. I crossed him in the bathroom. So and he's in the bathroom, and everybody said, Ozzy, Ozzy, Ozzy. And I'm waiting my turn. And then he looks at me and I says, man, Ozzy, I can't believe it. You're my idol. And he says, you got a bad choice of idols. And everybody burst into laughter.
Now, I understand how important The Who is to you, and you covered The Real Me. You got Ozzy's backing band. Couldn't you squeeze an Ozzy cover out of them too?
I'd love to. I'd love to. You know what song I'd do? I'd do either NIB from Black Sabbath or the song Diary of a Madman.
Yeah, that's a good one, actually.
Oh man, the melodies on those songs are amazing. Ozzy was such a great singer. People tend to a little not forget that, but because Ozzy was so bigger than life with his theatrical, and his persona, that people kind of forgot that he had the voice. It was bigger than big. Bark at the Moon, scream. He's got the notes, he's got the tone, everything was there. Ozzy was one of the best.
Tell me a little bit about this song you did with fellow Canadian hard rocker Lee Aaron. I cannot pronounce French to save my life, but why don't you tell me about that song?
Okay. The song is called Croire en l'homme, which literally means believe in man. Believe in man. So it's a tongue-in-cheek song. The lyrics are all it speaks about what men are and their worst behaviors, And then when the chorus enters, it says, but lucky for us, there are women to make us feel better and to make us grow into something more, better man, So when it was time to record that song, we wanted Lee on one of the songs. So I suggest that she sang on this song. So when they asked her, they said, is Rick doing a French album? So he said, no, it's an English album. But why does he want me to sing on the French? Oh, and by the way, I love the song. When she heard it, she loved it. And we go, because we're thinking outside the box. We want you to sing on the French. So she did, and she sounds great, man. She such a trooper. She got into the studio and she big smile, the attitude. I love the song, and then she did some ahs and whoos, and she sang with me on the choruses, and no accent. I got an accent when I speak in English. She didn't have any accent while she was singing, not at all.
Now you got to get on her next album.
If I'm lucky.
I really enjoyed the opening track, Dead End Road. Very powerful, hard rock, perfect opener song. Tell me a little bit about that one.
It had to start with that because my sister sings with me on this song, LuLu Hughes. Lulu is a well-known singer in Quebec. She had a long career. She's younger than me. When I was opening for Metallica back in the 80s, my sister was like 15, 16 years old. She would come and see us play. She would watch us rehearse in the basement. And when I had my career, it was more around the world than Quebec because I always sang in English. But she had a career here in Quebec as a French singer, singing in English too. So, but she got sick in 2017. My little sister, she got sick with cancer, and then she went through hell. Like everybody goes through hell when they have to go through chemotherapy and all that. So it lasted for a couple of years. Her cancer turned into another cancer, and now she survived it. She's healthy right now. But when this song was offered to me by Jerry Stober, I said yes, because the lyrics is like, there's no such thing as a dead end road. When the going gets tough, I keep on going. I never lose my faith. That's all that I really got, you know?
That's beautiful.
So I asked my sister to come and sing with me on this song because I said, this is our song, Lulu. Because, not only did she had a hard time, but I come from a family of musicians. My father was a guitar singer, player in a rock band. My mom would sing in his band, like a Johnny Cash, Jude Carter type of deal back in the 70s. And my father died young from an aneurysm to the brain. He was 29 years old, 4 kids. I was 8 years old. So the legacy was the music. When I started to play guitar, I did it for my mom because she lost her guitar player, which was my dad. So when we would go to parties and people would bring out a guitar and start to play, my mom would become happy. So I said, so as a kid, I had to get to have a guitar and learn the guitar so my mom would have somebody to play, to sing with. So that's how I learned the guitar. I learned from my mom. And life's been tough. When my dad died, she raised us on her own, on the salary of a waitress. So by that time I was 15 years old. I had to quit school and go to work to bring some money to the table so we could pay the rent, pay the electricity bill, so I could buy a guitar, I could buy amplifier, because my dad was gone. If he would have stayed, if he would have not died, I meant, probably would have helped me buy all the stuff, like all the kids that have their parents behind them. But then again, some kids, and back in the days, who wanted to be musician, they had to fight against their parents to become musicians because they wanted them to become lawyers, or you know what I'm saying? But not me. My mom, when at 15, I said, I'm going to quit school. I'm going to go to work, bring some money, and I'm going to start a band with Dan. And she said, okay, let's do that, boys. So my brother and I, we that's what we did. And we're still together. He was there earlier today. It's his birthday today.
Okay.
We did a sword concert 2 weeks ago in Montreal. So we're still doing the music too. He's not on this album, but he's been on all my projects.
So Brad Gillis doesn't just appear on The Real Me. He appears throughout the album. He appears on Carry the Torch, Shake My Soul, great guitar work and all those. But you got another legend on this album. You got Robbie Krieger from The Doors. That's no easy guy to get on your album. So how did you make that happen on the French song translated in The Skin?
Exactly. George, the question arrives at the perfect moment because I don't always talk about my past and my dad and this and what I just did. Sometimes I don't mention that, but the question you asked me brought me to talk about that. So, like again, when I was 15 years old, because we didn't have a father in the house, I felt like a stranger in a strange land because back then, if you came from a family, a broken family, you know, it was just your mom and you're kind of poor, you were like put aside, you know. So I felt like a stranger in a strange land. Everywhere I would go, I was searching for myself without even knowing I was searching for myself. And then I started to listen to the Doors. Man, I came of age listening to the Doors. When I was 14, 15 years old, I would fall asleep listening to the Doors, Jim Morrison. It was like a father figure to me because he was strange like I was, you know. So then everything came about, and, you know, I was listening to the song, the lyrics, and it inspired me. And the guitar, everywhere the guitar works. And fast forward to today, the guys on my album, I mean, probably my father has something to do with that because, yeah, because lots of time people ask me, how did you get Robbie Krieger? The first answer that comes to my mind is pure luck. I got lucky. I mean, come on. It's Robbie Krieger. He's a legend. And he said yes. So it again, when we were recording the album in Vancouver, and when it was time to record Amy Keys, who sings the duet with me on the song, Amy Keys, who sang with Ringo Starr, with Elton John, Quincy Jones, she worked with everybody. What a voice on this song. When it was time to record her, they said, well, she's in Los Angeles. So there's a studio in Los Angeles, the Robbie Krieger studio of the Doors, all the equipment's there of the Doors. And I said, wait, what? You had me at Robbie Krieger. Yeah, let's record there, please. So while we were recording Amy Keys' section for the song Dans la peau, like you said, which means in your skin, I said to my manager, we're at Robbie Krieger's studio. Maybe if we ask him, he will accept to play on the song. So we asked him, and again, he said yes. So if that's not pure luck, I don't know what it is. Little me, you know, if I'd be this big name, then it wouldn't be luck, you know. but it's little me, Rick Hughes from Montreal.
Rick, you mentioned your family a little bit on about a couple of these songs, and I wanted to know, do you have kids yourself now?
Yes, I have a daughter. She's 34 years old. My son turned 33 this summer. I got 2 grandkids, and I'm a very, very happy-go-lucky kind of guy. I love life. I love people. I love dogs, animals. I'm always in a good mood. And to have grandkids, you know, when you're a kid and you lose your father at 8 years old and he's 29, you don't know, but you grow up with an urgency, because if you see your father die, not even being 30, I remember when I turned 29, I said, that's the age my dad had when he died. That's weird. And then I got 30, 40, 50, and then I said, okay, the omen is broken. I'm still alive. I'm still going strong. So you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Every day for me is a gift, because I know, I saw it really, really young, that everything can change in the twinkle of an eye.
Are your kids musical like you? Maybe not professional musicians, but musical.
Yes, exactly like you said it. not professional like me. They have their own profession, but they love music. They love my son loves to accompany me on rhythm section when he comes home with his kids. I play the guitar and he sits down on a djembe and he does and my daughter is very, very artsy. She loves music, all kind of music from the 50s to today.
Awesome. Now, Redemption is a great album. I'm not just kissing your ass. It's a great album. I think it's great. You spared no expense in the sound quality. The songs are great. The guest musicians are great. Great production, everything. I feel like you might have spared a little bit of expense when it came to designing the album cover. I mean that in fun, but it's not as cool as some of the Sword album covers.
Yeah, well, it was, when you do a solo album, people tend to put their face on the cover, so or physically put themselves on the cover of the album. I didn't want to do that, so they pitched some ideas and this and that, and just showed me some picture that says, no, I don't want to be on the front. I want to be somewhere on the album, but not the front. What do you want on the front? I don't know. Pitch me some ideas and I'll tell you. And when they came up with that, Rick Hughes, Redemption, I says, perfect, like a book. That's what I want.
Excellent. How did you end up signing the deal with Deko Entertainment to release the album?
Through my manager. My manager is so good to me. He's been my manager since the Sword days, since I was 20 years old. Now he's still going with him. His name is Pierre Paradis. He's the best. He's a good friend of mine, and he's my manager. And so we had some offers, a couple of offers, and we went with Deko. They're doing a great job. I love him. Yeah.
Great company. They do great vinyl. They kind of deal with acts that have been in the game for a while.
Exactly. Yeah. They're doing a great job with me. Much love. I feel the respect and the love. I mean, when we came out with the real me, with the video and everything, they went, wow, we're gonna ring some bells with this, That's exactly what happened, because it's one thing to accept to play on an album, but to be in the video, that's totally different. Because now I don't have to explain to everybody, by the way, do you hear the drum? Can you hear who's playing? Well, it sounds familiar. Who is that? That's Tommy Aldridge, my friend. I don't have to do that. The planet knows that the Rick Hughes song, Real Me, the cover of The Who, it's Rudy Sarzo, Tommy Aldridge, and Brad Gillis, because everybody saw the video.
Rick, do you get a chance to play your solo material live?
It's all about that. That's the main reason why I'm still doing what I'm doing. I love the studio part of my job, if you can call it a job. But there's my two favorite place on earth. My second favorite place on earth is on a stage. That's where I come alive, on a stage. Now, do you want to know where's my first favorite place?
Well, it's got to be home.
There you go. Thank you so much. Exactly. There's no place like home.
You mentioned the Sword show that you played back on October 18th. That was a 45th anniversary show with Sword. How did it go?
Oh, amazing. Amazing. I mean, rock fans, I could have said metal fans. No, rock fans. We get the rock fans, because Sword is more of, like you said, when you introduced me, more of a hard rock, old school metal type of music. Sword was influenced by Led Zeppelin, by Black Sabbath, by AC/DC, by those bands, Deep Purple. So a bit like, I guess, Maiden and those bands were influenced. And there's some Iron Maiden influence in the music of Sword. But then again, Maiden is not that metal when you think about it.
True.
Because what is metal today? Today, metal is sometimes it's not even a melody. Iron Maiden is all about melodies. The melodies are incredible. Bruce Dickinson was one of my favorite singers. Same with Judas Priest, if you think about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Was this a one-time deal for the 45th anniversary of Sword, or are you going to do more shows down the road?
Oh yeah, we do plenty of shows. We've been doing shows for the last 10 years. We played in Germany. We did Heavy Montreal here a couple of times. We do like 5, 6 shows a year. We go where we are invited, and we make sure that we fit the bill, because sometimes we're invited to heavy metal festival, and then we go check out the roster and we go, wow, Sword doesn't fit there at all. It's too heavy. I got nothing against being too heavy, but you don't put something that's melodic metal with something that's thrash metal. It just doesn't fit the bill.
I know you're pushing the solo material, but is Sword working on their next album? You mentioned their last one was back in 2022.
Not right now, but we're always together. We're friends from teenage years. So maybe once I'm done with my solo album, and if we have good offers for Sword to continue, we'll probably record some other songs later on, or further on up the road. But like you said, right now I'm pushing the can with my album, because that's what I'm that's where my heart is right now.
And I'll tell anyone that'll listen that it's a fantastic album. Those are all the questions I have for you today. The new album is Redemption. It's out now through Deko Entertainment. Definitely in my top 5 for the year, Rick. And
Wow.
I want to thank you for taking the time to speak with me today about it.
Well, thank you so much. I was looking forward to an interview with you, because I love KNAC, and what you just said is you just put a smile on my face for the rest of the day.
You earned it, man, and you should be proud of it. And I'm glad we got to talk today. And I'll see you out there again, I'm sure.
Thank you so much, George.